Welcome, everyone, to the PW Fan, the ultimate pro wrestling podcast created by fans for the fans. This is episode 173. I'm your host, collector, barber, musician, and most importantly, a professional wrestling podcaster, Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Booker Andy.
And the no-selling indie wrestling fan, Jeremy, might not be joining us tonight. He might be hopping on, we'll see. But Tim and Andy, the brothers, we got you covered tonight on this week's episode. Before we get started this week, go over to youtube.com/the PW Fan Pod. Hit that subscribe and bell. Really helps us out. And for all other social media, look up at the PW Fan. We mostly use TikTok and Instagram. For shirts, go to prowrestlingtees.com/the PW Fan. All right, Andy. Let's get this brother episode started.
All right, let's start off with Dynamite this week. This past week, April 30th, opened up with they called it the All-Star 8-Man Tag Match. Team 1 was Kenny Omega, Mark Briscoe, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey taking on Kazuchika Okada, Ricochet, and the Young Bucks. Outcome of the match, Okada secured the victory for his team by pinning Mark Briscoe after delivering a Rainmaker. And then we had the Ops versus Hawkins, Camarado, and Titus. Ops dominated with Hobbs securing the pinfall after a spinebuster on Hawkins. Post-match, though, Samoa Joe has been feuding with John Moxley. The Death Riders ambushed the Ops, leading to Joe to challenge Moxley, saying, "If you're gonna fight that cowardly son of a bitch for the world title, I want to do it inside of a steel cage." So I believe that's taking place not on a pay-per-view, but on a Dynamite next week. We had an AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator match. I don't like that they call it that, by the way, because she's defending her title and they're calling it an Eliminator match.
Yeah, I know what you.
It's just a title match. I don't know. It's just a title match. So Toni Storm took on Miyu Yamashita. Outcome was Toni Storm retained her status by defeating Yamashita with the Storm Zero. Afterwards, Mercedes Moné confronted her, declaring her championship aspirations since Mercedes is going to face Toni Storm, or could face Toni Storm once she faces Jamie Hayter in the finals of the Own Heart tournament. Jamie Hayter would then attack Mercedes Moné. Then we have the Hurt Syndicate and MJF in-ring segment. This is still, I think Jeremy said it last week, the most entertaining stuff going on right now in AEW, I think. MVP Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley talked about MJF's potential inclusion in the Hurt Syndicate. MVP and Benjamin approved, but Lashley hesitated, so we got 2 out of 3 so far. MJF would attempt to persuade Lashley, but he kind of was also insulting him. He said, "How about some Rogaine, you big, bald son of a bitch?" This would provoke Lashley to choke MJF, suggesting that to join, MJF must prove himself by hurting somebody. So maybe if he does that, he will get in. Backstage, Nick Wayne and Christian Cage. Nick Wayne was asked about representing the patriarchy and AEW in the upcoming Best of the Super Juniors tournament in New Japan. Christian Cage insisted that all questions should be directed to him. Jay Lethal would interrupt. Haven't seen him in a little bit, I feel like. Challenging Nick Wayne to a match that night. Wayne hesitated, saying that he had a lack of preparation, but Christian Cage accepted the challenge on his behalf.
Has Jay Lethal been in Ring of Honor?
I don't see. We don't watch it, man. I have no idea. I really don't. But speaking of Ring of Honor, or ROH World Television Championship match, Nick Wayne, who's the champion, this was the match we were talking about, challenged or had a match against Jay Lethal. Nick Wayne would successfully defend his title, executing a Fisherman Buster for the pinfall. Post-match, Christian Cage placed the championship belt around Nick's waist, showing that he still continues to support him, even though there's some tension. We had a backstage promo from the Don Callis family, which just seems to be growing. He praised Takeshita and Josh Alexander for their performance in a tag team match recently, highlighted their victory over Will Ospreay and Brody King, talking about their dominance of his faction, and this just was supposed to show the credibility of the Donkhouse family. And then in the main event, we had a pretty good match, hard hitting. Owen Hart Foundation Tournament semifinal. Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher. Adam Page triumphed over Fletcher with a buckshot lariat. So now at Double or Nothing, where the finals are taking place, we have Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter. Winner faces Tony Storm, and then we have now at Double or Nothing. This should be good. Adam Page versus Will Ospreay. Winner will face, I guess, Moxley, right? Unless Joe wins the title beforehand.
Yeah.
One of them has to take the title from Moxley, dude. Just put it on Will. Put it on Will.
I think the fans are ready for a change for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all of us but Moxley, basically. All right, that was Dynamite Collision. Adam Cole will join commentary for the night. I believe for the whole night, maybe not. Yeah, throughout the night. Definitely for the main event, which had his group, the Paragon, in it, but we'll get to that. First match was Tony Storm versus Lady Frost. Tony Storm would win via submission. Afterwards, she would talk about whether it be Jamie Hayter or Mercedes Moné. She said, this tramp is still the champ. I'm ready. I'm sweaty. I'm here. I'm queer. And I will always be timeless. Jon Moxley would respond to Samoa Joe. Delivered a gritty backstage promo targeting Joe following injuring Shibata. He said, don't feel bad that all the people around you are dropping like flies. That's what happens when you pick a fight with me. Shibata's fate was sealed the second he stood next to you. Then we had one of these, so stupid, you'll see what I'm talking about, $100,000 high-speed collision 4-way. It's just a mouthful, man. Yeah. Sammy Guevara versus AR Fox versus Kevin Knight versus Roosh. Winner was Sammy Guevara. They all had standout moments, but Guevara stole the victory and pointed to Adam Cole on commentary afterward, teasing a TNT title challenge. This would be his third time being TNT champion if he wins. Joe would reply to Moxley. He would say, the man I see today doesn't have the heart to get into a face-to-face fight with a man like me. Then we had Megan Bayne versus Harley Cameron. Megan Bayne would emerge victorious. After the match, Bayne and Penelope Ford would attack Harley until Anna Jay ran in with a 2x4 to break it up.
Hardly Canon.
Hardly Cameron. Hardly Canon. Star Wars. I'm actually wearing a Star Wars shirt under this. Backstage, Harley and Anna Jay were seen. Harley said, I didn't win. I let myself down. I let Anna down. And worst of all, Anna, I let your fat ass down. Because she got a face. Anna Jay said, you did not let me or my fat ass down, okay? You're a meteor, Harley, and meteors don't quit. And then Harley said, yeah, you're right. I am a meteor, and meteors don't quit. This meteor is still coming down to rain terror on Megasis and the little raptor, Penelope Ford. You might not know.
God. Do we need to go word for word on the promos?
I don't know.
How
Some
much more
detail. I got a lot of detail.
How much AEW got on there?
Josh Alexander versus Brody King. Brody King, let's see. After the match, Brody King was attacked by Lance Archer at ringside. Max Caster had his open challenge, as usual, losing to Daniel Garcia. We had in the main event 2 out of 3 falls. FTR versus Paragon, which is Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. FTR would win 2-1. Fall 1, Kyle O'Reilly submitted Dax with an ankle lock. Fall 2, FTR hit a shatter machine on Strong. And then fall 3, Stokely Hathaway would interfere, save Cash from placing his foot on the ropes. And then another shatter machine to Kyle. Afterwards, Daniel Garcia would come down with a crowbar. You said, I could have attacked you, but you've always had my back. I want to prove I can beat any one of you in a match. So he looks like he's sided himself with the Paragon and Adam Cole. All right, enough of AEW because you're tired of it, ain't you?
There's just nothing going on there.
No.
Let's just skip. We could skip that.
You're like, skip all of AEW. All right, Raw.
You could give it when they have something for us to talk about. We can come back.
Raw
kicked it with NXT.
True. Raw kicked off with Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker in the ring. Rollins.
Now we got something to talk about.
You're like, Punk's gonna get involved. No, I love it too.
A storyline.
So Rollins declared himself the future WWE. He would dismiss names like Punk and Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn would interrupt. I wasn't really expecting this, but he accused Rollins of being a hypocrite and suggesting that Rollins is jealous of Punk and Reigns. Rollins offered Sami a choice because he said he respects him to join them or to move to SmackDown. He said he would give him till the end of the night to decide. He said, "You can walk away from this. You can take the easy route and move to SmackDown, or you can stay here and face the consequences. Um, you're either with us or you become a target." And that it isn't a threat, but it's an offer. So we'll find out later on. In the women's division, Rhea Ripley faced Roxanne Perez. Match ended in DQ when Julia from NXT attacked Ripley. Perez and Julia continued the assault until Io Sky made the save. Possible triple threat down the line. Becky Lynch would address her actions last week when she attacked her old friend Lyra Valkyria, and admitting that she attacked Bayley before WrestleMania and turned on Lyra after losing the women's tag team titles the week before. Becky would accept a challenge from Lyra for a match at Backlash for Lyra's Intercontinental Championship. Becky said, "I did what I had to do. Bayley was in my way, and Lyra, she was collateral damage. This isn't personal. It's about reclaiming what's mine." Even though she's never been a women's Intercontinental Champion because Lyra's been the only one, but I guess it is yours. My favorite, Stephanie Vaquer defeated Ivy Nile in a non-title match. So some of these ladies like Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie starting to make their way up little by little instead of just throwing them up there. Some of them still show up on NXT, but it's getting everyone familiar with them, which I like. The War Raiders defeated Judgment Day after interference from Penta, which cost Dominic and Balor the match. Dominique. Logan Paul confronted World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso. I'm not happy about this, but challenged him for the title at Backlash. He said, "You call yourself a champion. I'm the real deal at Backlash. I'm taking that title and showing the world what a true champion looks like." And Jay would respond saying, "You talk a big game, Logan, but at Backlash, you're stepping into my yard, and I'm going to make you regret every word." Logan Paul's
My
annoying.
yard.
The yard.
This is my yard now.
I'm sure you don't like this either. It was confirmed that Pat McAfee will face Gunther at Backlash after Gunther had attacked McAfee.
There's a lot of celebrity involvement going on.
Yep. Sami would finally respond to Seth in the main event, said, "I'm not going anywhere. You want me off Raw, you're going to have to drag me out." This would, did you see that clip I posted, or did you watch it live when Ron's is like, "Man, I wish you
I
didn't
watched
say
it
that."
live.
Yeah, and then the siren hits for Braun. It was like timed perfectly. I loved it.
Yeah,
So
good seg.
Braun came out for a match, defeated Sami via referee stoppage after like repeated spears over and over. Post match, Rollins delivered a stomp to Sami to close out the show. All right, SmackDown. I feel like I'm going fast, but oh well. We got less people talking, so there's less back and forth.
It's a short little snack tonight. Little snack for the people.
Snack. I could have missed it. I could have skipped if I wanted to, but
we're here.
Opening segment of SmackDown. LA Knight and Damian Priest. LA Knight opened the show demanding justice after interference ruined his title match against Jacob Fatu, I believe. He said, "Let me talk to you. I said I wanted a rematch for my United States Championship. Instead, I got Solo Sikoa's Samoan Spike and Jacob Fatu's Moonsault for my trouble." Damian Priest would interrupt, claim that last week's chaos was about shutting up Drew McIntyre because Knight basically blamed Damon. He said, "You picked the wrong time. The bell rang last week because of you." This would lead right into a match of LA Knight and Damian Priest. Match ended in DQ when Solo attacked both guys. Jacob Fatu would join in, lay them out with a moonsault. Nick Aldis would come out and said at Backlash, it'll be Fatu, Knight, Priest, and Drew McIntyre in a fatal four-way for the United States Championship. That should be good. I'm excited for that. As we saw last week, Chelsea Green lost her title to Zelina Vega. She said, "This is discrimination. I'm the most marketable woman on the roster, and you're ignoring me for what?" Vega. Nick Aldis would tell her that Piper Niven would face Vega tonight. The winner would get a title shot. Or if Piper Niven wins, she would get a title shot. And Chelsea Green stormed off saying she's going to contact her lawyer. She's great at playing that role.
are we ever gonna see the hot mess, or do you think
Dude,
it's
we've
never
talked
gonna
about on this
happen?
show before. I mean, I hope so. I
I
hope
don't know if
eventually
it's.
her character gets so fed up that she just like goes
I
crazy.
just don't know if they're ever gonna do it.
We had Fraxium, who made their debut
That's a
recently.
mouthful to say.
Fraxium, Nathan Fraser and Axiom from NXT. I think the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions. They won their SmackDown debut with a Spanish Flying Phoenix Splash combo on Pretty Deadly, and then we had the returning, I'll say, debut match of Aleister Black.
Mm.
It's funny because he debuted again last week in his old trunks, and this week he was wearing the shorts like he wore in AEW.
His long boys.
Well, not long boys, but like MMA
uh,
shorts. He made quick work of the Miz, and after dodging Miz's corner clothesline, he hit a black mass for the win, and then a little stare down with Carmelo Hayes. But yeah, this was Black looked great. I watched the whole match.
yeah, I watched it.
Really paid attention to it, and I
I
want to
just
see
feel
how he
bad for
was
the
doing.
Miz, man.
That's what you were saying over text.
The Miz is always just getting the short end, but he's getting paid. He's getting paid.
He's came to play. I'm not going to say what. Never mind. Backstage segment. Nia Jax and Naomi had some tension. Nia Jax, who returned recently, approached Naomi backstage, warning that they need to be on the same page tonight to have a tag match. Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven, number one contenders match. During the match, Chelsea Green attempted to drag or distract Vega, but the miscommunication with Piper Niven led to Vega winning. Afterwards, Chelsea Green screamed at her friend Piper Niven and shoved her to the ground. Maybe they're gonna turn on each other.
Mm.
And we had Rey Fenix versus Santos Escobar. Super fast paced lucha style showcase of both of them. This is a really good match. Ended with Phoenix hitting a springboard Spanish fly for the win. And him and Penta are really popular on both of their separate shows. I'm glad they're kind of separated.
Yeah.
Main event match of the night was Tiffany Stratton teaming with Jay Cargill versus Nia Jax and Naomi. There was tension between Naomi and Nia during the match. Naomi refused to tag her in and walked off, leaving Nia alone. Jay Cargill would hit a powerbomb on Nia, which was impressive. I believe it was off the turnbuckle. Carried her for a little bit and then slammed her. After the match, Naomi ran back and cleared the ring and held up the WWE Women's Championship over Stratton's body. Closing promo, we had Randy Orton targeting John Cena, as we know they're going to have a match at Backlash. Really excited for this. One of the things he said, "You're the latest legend that I have to put down at Backlash. I'm going to punt John Cena's head through the Gateway Arch." This will be the main event of Backlash. You want to look
As
at the
it
card
should.
real quick?
Yeah, while you're pulling that up, I just wanted to say I'll get the classic show of the week out of the way now. So my daughter and I watched Sasha versus Bailey from one of the early takeovers, and man, she loved it. She was like going crazy. She rooted for Sasha. She was mad that Bailey won. So I would.
And she's like the hugger in that one, right?
Yeah, she's like,
That's funny.
like, no, I like the bad guy.
Was it the glasses?
No, it was the red hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like Ariel.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so go back and watch that match. Great match.
That's cool. That's a good
Really
takeover too.
Yeah.
What was the men's match? Was it Balor and Owens?
No, I was just showing her highlights of women's matches.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
We were watching like the full match.
Maybe we can go through. Actually, I don't know. I can't remember when Backlash is. Maybe we'll do predictions right now, you and me. All right. I'm actually looking forward to this card. It's a pretty solid, like, again, regular pay-per-views don't have too many matches on them, but I like these. So, Intercontinental Championship, Dominic versus Penta.
Dominic versus Penta. Dominic.
Did you see that video I posted, man, of like all these people giving Dom his props?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Dude, I was like, oh, this put me in the feels. I was like, Dom's great.
I know. We even said, who would have thought?
Dom's great. He gets his respect. I'm going to go with Dom. United States Championship, Jacob Fatu, Drew, and LA Knight and Damian Priest.
Mm. Jacob Fatu.
I say Jacob, and I say that eventually, maybe SummerSlam, we get Jacob versus Solo. I think that's when we get that. I don't
Yeah.
think he turns on him yet.
It'll happen soon.
Um, I can't believe SummerSlam's 2 nights this year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I feel like all the big events are turning into 2 nights.
The Big Four,
Yeah.
2-night Royal Rumble. No, not needed.
Yeah, you don't need 2 nights of the Rumble.
Survivor Series. Do you think they chill off with the War Games and go back to something else? They've done War Games a lot in a row now.
Yeah,
Champ
probably.
versus champ, or that whole thing, or teams.
Yeah. I like the teams. I like old school teams with lots of stakes on the line.
But do you like the show versus show, or do you like the like team versus team on like a Raw,
Team versus
like
team
captains?
with storylines going on both shows.
What's your favorite Survivor Series team?
Team Austin versus Team Bischoff. Austin's career was on the
HBK is like
line.
the last man
Yeah,
standing.
yeah.
Who takes
So
him out?
good. Batista. And then Orton, Batista does a run in, and then Orton takes him out. But he fights back from like 4 against 1 and makes it all the way to the end.
Second coolest, DX, Hardys, and Punk.
That one's a cool one.
Wasn't there one where Dolph like fucking was like this superstar in it?
Yeah.
I saw something about it.
Yeah, there's been, but yeah, I don't know. The Team Austin versus Team Bischoff's my favorite.
That was a good one. Because that whole pay per view was crazy,
Yeah.
right? That was the Barrett Alive. That was Shane versus Kane ambulance match or stretcher match.
That's such a good pay per view.
That was a good one. That was a good one. All right, Gunther versus Pat McAfee. I mean, please, Gunther.
Yeah,
God.
Gunther.
But Gunther's gonna make Pat look good. Lyra Valkyria versus Becky. Do you think Becky takes that title? Becomes another Grand Slam champ?
I was gonna say not yet, but maybe. Yeah.
If they haven't announced it, I mean, you could still have other ones like Io Sky and Rhea Ripley versus Julia and Roxanne Perez. You could have Tiffany Stratton versus Nia.
Yeah.
But the ones that we actually know of, I'm going through. And then John Cena versus Randy Cena. Cena ain't losing it now.
Cena, for sure.
Do you think shenanigans happen?
For sure. Because Randy, like, isn't just going to, like, lose.
It's going to be so weird. They've been showing, like, video packages. Have you seen of, like, their old rivalries? You were watching all through that time. Like,
yeah, God, it's just, like, weird, though, because, like, some of it, I don't think it's that long ago, and then I see how different they look, and I'm like, whoa.
Especially skinny, not buff Randy.
Yeah, really skinny Randy. It's always weird.
They were like complete opposites, weren't they?
Yeah, he was like agile and smooth. John's kind of big and klutzy.
I always see videos like no one understands how many kids this man like scarred.
Oh yeah, punting people in the head.
Yeah, punting their hero. Man. But that's it. I know it wasn't a very long one. I know Jeremy's not here, so when it's only the two of us, we don't go as in depth.
Well, also, it's not like it was like a groundbreaking week, so
no.
We'll catch up on episode 174. Go back and watch that NXT takeover. And
one more thing. There was a lot of layoffs this week.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of layoffs. There was a lot I was surprised by, particularly in NXT. But the big one on the main roster was what, Braun Strowman?
Yeah, didn't he just have like a banger match like a couple weeks ago?
I read that it was because he was getting paid way more than like he was being used. Like for the amount he was getting paid, he should have been used more.
Right.
Kind of thing. And there was a lot in NXT. I also just got done the Eddie Gilbert thing right
Very-
before. You
yeah.
can talk about it. I was like
I mean,
doing stuff while watching it, but
it's a great dark side of the ring that Eddie Gilbert.
was it Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert?
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Go watch it. Innovator, did a lot of things before his time. You know, kind of cultivated the start of ECW. He kind of by accident started shoot interviews. He was doing like really big heel gimmicks in Memphis and changing finishes on Ric Flair. He was a crazy dude.
I did pay attention to that part. Flair was pissed.
Yeah, he's like,
He changed the finish.
Corny. He's like, who the fuck is this guy?
So that can be the show that you all watch. There's 2 episodes left of Dark Side of the Ring this season. Tim, it's Truth, Lies, and Billy Jack Haynes.
All right.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
And then the final episode is Blood, Fire, and the Original Sheik.
Ah, yes. Sabu's uncle.
That's right. I knew he was related to someone. Have they? I saw something about season 7. Have they released? It says current status of Dark Side of the Ring season 7 revealed. There's no confirmation yet, but discussions have started for a couple of topics in case they get the green light.
Well,
For it.
I'm always down for more
Tim's
Dark
like,
Side's
give me
my
some
favorite-
more.
The best show.
But yeah, go watch that. You can find it on YouTube, or I'm sure you can find it on some site.
Yeah.
So-
Thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great week, everybody. Go watch some wrestling.
Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have